I want you to know what this card says. So this is just a bunch of Succession spoiler jokes that I will be peppering in the other jokes. So if anyone here is not caught up, just understand you've missed your window. Okay? And that goes for the people here tonight at Dynasty Typewriter, and that goes for the people at home. Everyone cool? Everyone comfortable? One time I told people about something on Game of Thrones too soon, and it was a mistake. Let's get into it. What a week. In a Today Show interview ahead of the White House Easter egg roll on Monday, President Biden said of his 2024 plans,
Well, I plan on running now, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
Biden's like the frosting guy who writes, "Congratulations, Madison," in blue frosting directly on the cake. The Democratic National Committee has announced that the convention will be held in Chicago in 2024. Chicago was chosen to commemorate the birthplace of finally catching supervillains not for their worst crimes, but for tax fraud. The DNC going back to Chicago for the convention is like me going back to a diner for oysters. Sure, I remember what happened, but this time will be different. Honestly, though, I think it's brave of Democrats to bring the convention back to Chicago after the famous horror happened there in this past convention. I think it's sweet. They look so guileless and happy. Before social media, it was a better time for doing whatever that was. Fox News was sanctioned this week by the Delaware Superior Court for withholding evidence in the Dominion voting system's defamation suit. Do you know how corrupt your business has to be to get in? Applaud legal consequences. Do you know how corrupt your business has to be to get in trouble in Delaware? It's the Cayman Islands of the U.S. Every company incorporated there gets unlimited tax breaks and a personal smooch from Chris Coons. Fox, to use the legal term, done goofed bad. In an interview with Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump claimed Manhattan courthouse employees apologized to him for his arraignment last week.
And I'll tell you, people were crying. People that work there, professionally work there, that have no problems putting in murderers, and they see everybody. And they were crying. They were actually crying. They said, "I'm sorry." They'd say, "2024, sir, 2024." And tears are pouring down their eyes.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I bet he really believes it. It rolls. What a way to live. But a law enforcement source told Yahoo News that this was absolute BS and no one was crying or apologizing. The giveaway isn't that a New York City municipal employee would be pro-Trump. It's that a New York City municipal employee would emote under any circumstances. These people are hardened. Do you know what you see when you work in a New York City courthouse? It's not all lotto winners marrying diner waitresses, I'll tell you that much. If anyone is crying in that building, it's going to be whoever showed up to the kiosk without their paperwork. The source said Trump's visit was actually pretty routine, except that his fingers were too dry. This is real. His fingers were too dry to be fingerprinted. So So DA employees had to give the former president lotion. Honestly, if Trump needed to borrow lotion from somebody, he could have just asked any of the MSNBC reporters covering the proceedings. Trump has basically mummified himself on Diet Coke and oversalted restaurant food that he is so dehydrated and desiccated that his fingers are too dry to be fingerprinted. He is a criminal icon. Trump also told Tucker Carlson that Biden abandoned dogs when the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan, saying this.
They left the dogs, by the way. You know, the people say about the dogs. They left the dogs. Everyone, the dog lovers, and you got a lot of them. I love dogs. You love dogs. But they left the dogs. People said, what? One of the first questions I got, what did they do with the dogs?
It is true, we did leave dogs, but we also left them a lot of bones to play with. Boy, that response was limper than Logan Roy's dead body slumped over on a toilet. Thank you. But previous reporting tells us that Trump actually hates dogs. His ex-wife Ivana wrote in her memoir that he never got along with her poodle, Chappie. But that might have something to do with the fact that the dog was affectionately named after Trump's fucked up dry-ass fingers. Meanwhile, Trump used his crunchy, dusty hands to file a lawsuit against one-time attorney Michael Cohen for breach of contract this week, saying Cohen owes $500 million in damage. What sucks is Trump actually has a pretty good case against Michael Cohen. Your lawyer can't go on TV and just reveal your private conversations for years. You can't write books and do podcasts about your clients. That's the whole deal. That's the whole point of lawyers. Reverse priests. Can't tell anyone and help you figure out how not to seek forgiveness. Our only solace is that Michael Cohen radiates, I sleep in my ex-wife's parents' rec room energy. So there's no way Trump is getting a dime out of him. And then today, Trump appeared at yet another hearing, this one regarding the civil fraud suit brought against him by New York Attorney General Letitia James, an entirely different case. Trump is in a vaudevillian level of trouble. Hello? I'm calling about my fraud. No, not that one, the other one. That's it. That's vaudevillian level of fraud. I expected a laugh there, but much like Conor Roy expecting his father, Logan Roy, to come to his wedding, I am left disappointed because Logan wasn't coming to the wedding and then also died. It sucks that Trump is in this insane situation and he isn't even charming enough to have fun with it. You know that if Bill Clinton had to check in with the same receptionist for 2 different criminal cases in 1 week, he'd be like, we got to stop meeting like this. All right. That joke flopped harder than Succession's Logan Roy when he keeled over in that airplane bathroom. In this lawsuit, Trump and his adult children stand accused of committing staggering fraud by lying about the value of their holdings by billions of dollars. But they were only staggering their way to fraud because Don Jr. mixed up his pills. On Monday, the Justice Department sought a stay of Judge Matthew Kaczmarek's suspension of the FDA's approval of mifepristone, one of the 2 pills used for medication abortions, which makes up most of the abortions in the U.S. The other pill enables you to understand what is actually happening outside the illusion of the matrix, giving you valuable perspective into why the old white dudes want to force you to procreate so badly. The Fifth Circuit ruled on Thursday, staying part of the bunker's order, specifically the one that reverses the decision from the year 2000, but allows part of the order to stand, which reverses the FDA's decision to make mifepristone more accessible in recent years. At the same time, the judge in Washington issued a contradictory ruling telling the FDA it must continue to make mifepristone as available as ever, which means relief will have to come from the Supreme Court. Good luck, guys. The only relief that anyone's getting in the Supreme Court is coming from Harlan Crowe's generously donated luxury massage chairs. There's something about like, I'll do whatever you want. All right. Okay, I need to pull that. It's like, what is it? I'll help your business. All right. Stupid. Out of an abundance of caution, Democratic states like Massachusetts, Washington, Maine, and Maryland moved to stockpile mifepristone for their residents through a variety of avenues, from having universities bulk order the pill to passing legislation to protect pharmacies. Hear me out. Let's not stockpile it. Let's get it to the people. Let's load up trains all over the country, close our eyes, and let nature take its course. Meanwhile, after reporting that multiple women nearly died after being sent home because the hospital was unable to perform medically necessary abortions, a bill to exempt women in this specific circumstance from Florida's 15-week abortion ban was voted down by Republican lawmakers, who then went even further, passing an even more draconian 6-week ban into law earlier today. Now the only place to get an abortion in Florida is the Norway Pavilion of Epcot World Showcase. Not because Norway's laws apply, there's just a guy there who will do it. Said one anonymous source, "Gorsh, ask for Kyle." In the story of that joke, Goofy is anonymously talking to reporters to let women know how to get access to abortion at the Norway Pavilion, the World Showcase in Epcot. California Senator Dianne Feinstein has been absent from the Senate for several weeks with a case of shingles and has not given a return date. I know a phony excuse when I see one. First the Kardashians and now Feinstein. Seems like everyone is getting their butt implants taken out. Senator Feinstein has missed 60 out of 82 votes this year. And in her absence, the Judiciary Committee is unable to send progressive judicial nominees to the floor at a time when President Biden and the Democratic majority are trying to confirm as many judges as possible after McConnell and Trump spent years stacking the court with fascist womb hunters. After the chair of the Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, who was chair in part because it was clear that Feinstein was no longer fit to be ranking member or chair, told CNN that Feinstein's absence was slowing down the confirmation process, the calls for her resignation began coming from inside the House. Ro Khanna and other House Democrats began calling for Feinstein to resign for the first time. The Durbin comments had me reeling, so I yelled about it on Pod Save America, and then Fox News and the New York Post picked it up because they love Democrat on Democratic violence. I just want to note to the people who said to me it was sexist, ageist, and or ableist to call on Feinstein to resign, I want you to know something. I hear you. I see you. I think it's amazing that you can function in the world with zero critical thinking skills. Oh, it's sexist to suggest that a 89-year-old senator who has had reporting that she's unfit to serve already, that is more than, a year and a half ago we started hearing those reports, is now completely absent. She's preventing us from confirming pro-choice, pro-gay, pro-worker, pro-environment fucking judges. And it's ableist and sexist to say we should have somebody in our senator's job. We're already underrepresented in the fucking Senate. We already only get 2, and so does Wyoming, which we all know is horseshit and we can't fucking fix it. Now we only get 1 working senator? Bullshit. And now we'll see what happens, because now Senator Feinstein has said that she understands that her absence from the Judiciary Committee has real consequences. So let's see if there's one of 2 possibilities. Senate Republicans will be kind, or we will have to figure out what to do because they won't allow us to put a temporary replacement on the Judiciary Committee. But either way, we need to vote people out of the Judiciary Committee, and it's not her seat, it's our seat. Yeah. Meanwhile, and she's done, it's like a storied career. It's a shame that at the end of a storied career, she was the mayor of San Francisco. She did a lot of good at a very difficult time. Meanwhile, Harlan Crowe, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's billionaire sugar daddy, reportedly collects Nazi memorabilia. When reached for comment, Crowe said, "Before you call me a racist, you should know that I've also acquired another rare, expensive collectible, a black friend." Crowe has explained that he collects all this Nazi stuff because he hates fascism. It's the same reason Lindsey Graham owns all that RuPaul's Drag Race. It's the same. Fuck it. Leave it. It's fine. You get it. RuPaul stuff. Yeah. Is he gay? Whatever. That's the joke there. And adding to the growing case against Justice Thomas's corruption, it was recently uncovered that Thomas never disclosed that Harlan Crowe bought property from him and owned the house that Thomas's mother-in-law lives in to this day. He also, I think, fixed it up for her, apparently. Not disclosing this kind of a real estate transaction is called illegal. Might as well call Clarence Thomas an old lady with shingles that I'm bullying on the internet, because that guy needs to resign. On Monday, Nashville's City Council unanimously voted to appoint Justin Jones back to his seat in the Tennessee legislature, days after Republicans expelled him and Justin Pearson for participating in a gun control protest. Because unfortunately, while the expulsion was valid, the Republicans forgot to file the all-important no backsies resolution. Then on Wednesday, the city council in Memphis also voted to reappoint Justin Pearson, who stated in the New York Times that he wasn't elected to be pushed to the back of the room and silenced. This just in, and it's just in time. Thank you. That response was so warm, there's no way anyone could mistake it for the corpse of Logan Roy. Over in Florida, Republican Webster Barnaby apologized Monday for calling trans people mutants, demons, and imps during a hearing on the bathroom bill.
The Lord rebuke you, Satan, and all of your demons and all of your imps who come and parade before us. That's right, I called you demons and imps.
He is led to apologize for his Dickensian-ass name. Webster Barnaby, what are you, a bumbling oaf courting a beloved sister of the protagonist? He went on to say this.
I'm looking at society today, and it's like I'm watching an X-Men movie with people that, when you watch the X-Men movies for Marvel Comics, it's like we have mutants living among us on planet Earth.
And of course, we all remember the heroes in the X-Men movies, the people who spread fear and hate about X-Men. During it, just completely missing the point of those films. He's rooting for that senator from the first one. Oh no, he turned into water. He was gonna kill them all at the Statue of Liberty. The hero of the film. Water senator. During a debate about gender-affirming care, which he is, of course, against, Missouri State Senator Mike Moon defended children being able to marry at age 12.
You voted no on making it illegal for kids to be married to adults at the age of 12 if their parents consented to it. You said, actually, that should be the law because it's the parents' right and the kids' right to decide what's best for them, to be raped by an adult. Okay?
Do you know any kids who have been
With
married
marriage.
at age 12?
That was the law.
do you know any
You voted
kids-
not to change it.
Do you know any kids who have been married at age 12?
I don't need to.
I do. And guess what? They're still married.
Yuck. Remember how much middle school sucked? Now imagine starting it as a divorcee. We're really going for it tonight. Really throwing some fastballs. Pentagon officials spent the holiday weekend scrambling to understand how dozens of highly classified intelligence documents wound up on social media, the worst U.S. intelligence breach in a decade. Unfortunately, the answer seems to be some weird guy put them there. And honestly, we could have told you that. The documents were reportedly leaked on an invite-only Discord called Thug Shaker Central, where, according to the New York Times, 20 to 30 young men chatted about their shared love of guns, racist memes, and video games. Ah yes, the incels live, laugh, love. You don't have to leak sensitive military intelligence to impress those guys. You can just write, I have a girlfriend. They can prove that you don't. The documents include tactical information about the war in Ukraine, provide a rare window about how the U.S. spies on both its foes and its allies. The mood is anger, one Defense Department official told Politico. It's a massive betrayal. I can't imagine how you feel, said an Afghan translator in a Taliban prison. That was the one. That was the one that was too much. This room is so dead, I'm about to hold my phone up next to its ear so Kendall, Roman, and Shiv can say goodbye. Now that you've warmed up, I want you to know we put that in the fucking prompter because I knew what that joke was going to do, and it was wrong, and I'm sorry. But what are we? It's okay. It's a dark time. Now that you've warmed up, in horrific news that we all want to ignore but can't, the literal Dalai Lama had to apologize. I know. What do we? You just want to just pretend you never saw it, but you did see it. We all fucking saw it. Don't look away. Behold. I'm not going to show it. What the fuck? Anyway, the Dalai Lama apologized for kissing a little boy and asking the child to suck his tongue. That's what happened. That's the story from the news. That was the news this week about the Dalai Lama. And sure, he's canceled, but 14 incarnations, it's a pretty good run. In a statement from his office, the Dalai Lama said he wished to apologize to the boy and his family. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. The statement goes on, and when he's not doing that, he's asking little boys to suck his tongue. We're out. We've depleted the strategic succession reserves. A truck carrying 40,000 pounds of toxic soil from the East Palestine train derailment overturned on an Ohio freeway this week, spilling half of the soil onto the roadway. It's another major embarrassment for Transportation Secretary Lucille Ball. That was good. Zuri, that was good. Hey, good job. That was good, Zuri. That's funny. Look at that. All right. This just in. Oh, this is a relief. The soil from the crashed truck, from the crashed train, is being hauled away safely by a 1930s era Zeppelin filled with hydrogen. The FBI has warned the public against using free phone chargers in airports, hotels, and shopping centers, saying bad actors have managed to use public chargers to infect devices with malware, a scheme known as juice jacking, which is a way hornier name than what is actually being described. You can avoid the danger of juice jacking by using your own cable and by plugging into electrical outlets instead of USB ports. But that doesn't sound like you, does it? You're gonna raw dog it at the airport like you always do, you fucking freaks. This week, the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology published a new scientific article titled The Scrotum. The Scrotum, a comparison of men's and women's aesthetic assessments. Here's the conclusion, and this is verbatim. Ultimately, it was barely possible to identify a beautiful scrotum. We must instead speak of the least ugly. Must we, though? Must we? Scientists initially approached the study by scanning thousands of pictures of balls, but unfortunately, most of the data was tainted. Get one a week. As he prepares to portray Bob Dylan, Timothée Chalamet is reportedly working with the same vocal coach who trained Austin Butler for his turn as Elvis. Here we go. A lot of accent work today. Only. It's just Mitch McConnell. I'll just do Mitch McConnell and use picture Elvis. Only when the next victims get stuck in the voice of a great musical icon will my own curse be lifted. Thank you, Timothée. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. Well, everybody do it or no one do it. 5 people clapping. It's a waste of fucking time. It's being nice is free. Fucking animals. The Yuba City Police Department appointed a rabbit named Percy as a wellness officer who will remain at the station as a support animal for the staff. The support he's offering, he knows how to get rid of body cam footage. You awed so sweetly. Aw. Still a fucking cop. And finally, Billy McFarland, the architect behind the failed Fyre Fest of 2018, announced on Twitter that Fyre Festival 2 is finally happening. Remember the guy who was willing to suck dick to secure water for the first festival? He's back, and you won't believe what he's willing to do this time. It's sucking dick.